again, Kitty Powers at your beck and call. I've just come online to have a little nosy around. We're busy all week making things, and at work at Media Molecule, and I've decided to come back, do some more work on my cakes. So let's have a look. We did a Sculpt demo last week, which I'm sure some of you have fiddled around with. It wasn't that impressive, to be honest. Now feel free to ask me any questions. I'm going to build some more cakes today. I've got a couple of cakes on the horizon, one of which is a scone and the other is a cream horn, which I've decided I'd like to make. Let's have a look. Oh, here we go. Let's wait for some people to join. I'm just going to start. We could put some lovely icing on that donut as well. There we go. Now, first thing I'm going to do before I start making this scone is I'm going to look for some research images, reference images on the internet. I would always recommend it. Right. Let's have a look. We'll make a basic scone first. As always, I think I'll make them hexagonal. Although they're usually quite crumbly looking. Have a look. Now, why isn't that coming up? I guess it's because... So I don't know if you know, but you can... you can bring up the colour picker by pressing the touchpad like that, and then you can grab colours off things. Like I just grabbed that colour off that donut. Now, actually, scones are a little bit more golden than that. So let's try grabbing something from there. That's better. Oops. That's more like it. We will of course be spray painting it later. We'll make a nice chunky scone. A bit bigger than that. I think maybe it needs to be a little bit well, let's put varying looseness on, because that always helps, and we'll make it a little bit shorter like that. Oh, we've got some people joining. Hello kittens, how are you all doing? I have the chat open if you'd like to ask me any questions. I'm doing a scone today, and scones look quite lumpy actually, it turns out. Now I could do some I'm going to be sculpting into this hexagon shape, let's not put that down yet. I'm going to make it a little tiny bit more there. That's better. Just to make it a little more toasty looking. There. Because we're going to be nibbling away at it a bit. So let's have a look. I'm going to just get a... I'm just going to make these corners a little bit less. I'm going to turn the grid off. But I'm going to switch keep upright on because I want to trim these corners off. Just a smidge. There we go. That's it. There. Oops. Now, I'm also going to put ridges around the edge. Now, I've made scones before. I don't know how many of you actually like baking, but when you cut a scone, the pastry should be about 1 inch thick, and then oh, I need to turn that off now. And then what happens is you have to use a sharp cutter because that's it. There we go. Let's just trim that edge off. I'm not going to trim the bottom edge because that's where it would have been sat on the baking tray, so it will have a harder edge down there. So we're just softening this shape up a bit. I'm going to probably change the fleck as well in a minute, because squares aren't very bakery like. And what we're going to do is we're going to keep it rough, because scones usually have a glaze but only on the top, so we'll have a rough texture, and then we'll paint some shiny glaze on the top, a bit like we did with the lemon muffin. Okay, let's have a look. That's quite good. Let's just get the pictures back up. Right. Now, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to cut some ridges out of it. I'm going to put my keep upright back on. Now, it's also worth bearing in mind that scones often go wonky in the oven, but we're going to pretend that we are master bakers and that we have a perfect scone, although we are going to make it a little bit wonky. Let's just stamp that in place. We don't want that to be too obvious, we're just going to make it quite subtle. We're going to just put a bunch of them. In fact, let's move that along there and multi-clone, because that makes it easier. See that? Let's put another one here. along to the end. Press left on the D-pad, and then there we go. Okay, and then we'll continue doing that all the way round. So that it looks like the cutter had a very... It was one of those edged ones with the little ribbony bits. There. So it's subtle, but it's effective. I'm not sure if this looks very scone-like. You're going to need to do a bit of work on this one, kitten. Master Baker. Well, I don't know about that. Although I have made a few scones in my time. My favourite's actually cheese scones. I don't know about you. Oh, that's interesting. Has anyone been building anything nice? Anyone want any top tips on how to build things? Has everybody been looking at Twitter and all that to see what other people have been making? So I don't talk much when I'm concentrating because I'm concentrating. There. So there's our scone. It's not very good yet. We're going to have to trim off some bits. Yes, the Cornish ones are very nice. I'm going to move these in a little bit more to round that corner off. Just a touch. I feel like it needs it. Just a little bit less angularity. Did everyone watch the stream, the Media Molecule stream the other day? Now this is just a good example actually of the fact that in dreams when you're sculpting you can go back and adjust your edits after you've made them just by grabbing them and moving them, as long as you can touch the sculpture where the edit interacts with it. So I'm just there, I'm just cloning the previous edits to take these corners off a little bit more, just to round the shape off slightly, because I don't like those pointy bits. I need to make it look like a real scone. There we go, look at that. Oops. You do have to make sure your camera is positioned correctly to get, because I am using a dual shock here. I'm not using the moves. I don't have moves at home. That's a bit better, isn't it? It looks nice and crusty. In fact, this edge hasn't been brought in yet. I'll bring that one in as well. There we go. There. That's a little bit better. Now, I was going to look at my reference again, because I feel as if, you see this edge down here, it looks a little bit odd to me. It does look a little bit odd. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this button here, and that's going to isolate the scone from its surroundings. I'm going to clone that. I'm just going to move it down, and I am going to actually do what I said I wasn't going to do, and just soften those corners, because I'm entitled to change my mind. I'm an artiste. Let's just scroll. grab that, and then we hold L1 and just push down on the left stick, and that, all that does is hold L1 and push down the left. So grab, we grab that, we clone it by holding L1, then we and then grabbing with R2. Then I let go of L1, so now I'm holding the clone, and then I press L1 again, push down on the left stick, and just move that down. Because holding L1 makes the left stick strafe, the camera rather, parallel to the camera, the screen. And just going down here, just soften that up a bit. There we go. Right. Look at that. Should I do the corners as well down there? I might do. The reason I wanted to make this hexagonal is so that when I'm building my level out of these cakes, I'll have different shapes to use. That's why I want to do a cream horn, because then I'll have a cone I can use to make towers and things. I've got to keep upright on, that's why. Sausage. That's it. There we go. That's it. Cloning that. Moving it around a bit. Now when I'm grabbing objects, I tend to, when I'm holding R2, I will then use my thumb on the touchpad to rotate them if I need to. So here, if I want to tip that slightly forward, I'll just move my thumb, slide it slightly upwards on the touchpad while I'm grabbing it to rotate it. There, that's a bit more Scottish. Oh yes, I saw that bus. Was that the one with Frederick Fox driving it, by any chance? Yes, I remember. Right, so let's turn that off again. So this gone. I have to keep turning my iPad back on because it keeps going to sleep. We need to. Now, do you remember the cracks we did in the cakes? The cracks in the tops of the cakes. Let me show you for a. Remember these cracks? Look. In the top of these muffins. We also did some in the top of these sponge cakes, although they weren't quite as vigorous. We're going to do some in these scones. Scones are very crackly, so we're going to do a bunch of cracks around the edges to make them more sconish. I don't think we'll do any in the top, but what we might do in the top is do what we did with the sponge cake and create these little bubbles like that. Do you remember that? So let's get a colour. Let's do a little bit of spray painting. So I want to get the basic colours correct. So let's make a paler. Actually, I'm going to save this colour. That's our scone colour. I'm going to make a paler colour to use for the edges. So now we're using that colour. You have to remember when you change tools as well that it will remember the colour you were using. So you have to make sure that if you change your colour then change your tool, that you actually then need to change your colour again. Slightly annoying, but only in certain situations. Now let's do some surface snap. I always do surface snap when I am spray painting because it keeps my paintbrush on the surface of the object that I'm painting, and I'm going to soft blend it so it's nice and soft, and I'm going to turn the opacity down so that it's very subtle and I can layer it on bit by bit, because the spray paint is quite sensitive to the analog stick. So what I'm doing is I'm just making the edges of the scone. So I'm going to turn on, because I'm spray painting, I'm going to put on studio lighting so I can get a good idea of what colours I'm actually working with and what effect they're having. I'm also going to spray the top like that, so it looks like the corners have caught the heat more than the flat bits. And the base will obviously always be a bit more toasty because it's been sat on the hot metal. And we will spray paint this some more. This is just a little bit so that we can we're going to do a bit of work now on the top part first. I want to do the bibbly bits. So we've got a sphere. We're going to use soft blend, stamp shape. Again, it's remembered what I was using before. Now we're going to use the other colour and we're going to make it quite low. So there we go, look. We'll make it a bit lower than that still. So it just makes bumpy bits. And then we're going to, I might make that a little bit darker actually, a little bit toastier. Just a smidge. I'm going to give it a bit more red, just a little bit. Oh, maybe not. Okay, let's not do that. I'm going to make it a smidgen less saturated. Is that still too much? It might be. Let's have a look at our pictures. Oh, I don't know. It has its moments. Let's do a little bit with that one, and then we'll do a little bit with the other one. I'm going to do a little bit of soft blend as well. Just a little bit. Just to soften it out. There we go. I'm going to turn that off. Shall I turn it off? I think I'll turn that off because we've got soft blend. Now this is going to give us our slightly textured look. You might think, why did she bother with all those bits at the beginning? Well, because every little detail makes a subtle difference. Even if you can barely see it towards the end of the process, it all has a slight effect. There we go. So we've got a slightly bumpy top. We're going to hand spray paint some toasty bits. There. I still haven't changed the fleck yet. See there, it looks a bit more toasty. Opacity is a bit high. It does tend to reset the opacity, you'll find. Luckily it didn't, because the colours are so similar, it wasn't a big deal. And I'm going to go back in with the lighter colour, just in between, just to enhance the contrast. There we go. And I'm going to paint over that later as well. Now, which fleck do you think I should use? I think we'll probably go for a dotty fleck, just because it gives it lots of texture. They're going to need to switch on ruffle, so we're going to go in here. We could do that in the tweak menu on the fleck sub menu, or you can use the ruffle tool, which is in the style mode, but I think for now I'm just going to do, there we go, that just rotates the flecks. You see that? See, before they were all the same angle, and now I'm going to just twist them so they're all random angles, so that you don't see any kind of regularity, because we don't want that, do we, kittens? And we're going to leave the impasto quite low because we don't want it to look hairy. Look, that's what happens. We don't want that, do we? You wouldn't want to eat that. Yuck. Looseness doesn't look like much of anything, does it, when you do that? Fleck perspective. We don't need to worry about that just yet. So here's our scone so far. Now we're going to need to do some work on the edges. So let's do that, shall we? Has anyone got any questions? I know there's some people watching. All 8 of you. I'm going to start carving into the edges now to make the cracky bits where it's stretched. Because obviously the reason why you use a sharp metal blade to cut your scones out of the mixture is because what it does is it enables it to rise when it's in the oven. And the more it rises, the more cracks you get on the edge. So let's scope back into that. We're going to go into, I might use paint mode. I will do the glazing, don't worry, it's not time for glazing yet. A pandy bups. I don't know if that's how you pronounce your name. I'm going to use smear shape, but I might change my mind. Right, let's have a look. We're going to do... well, actually what we do want to do, probably, is use the curve tool. The reason why I'm going to use that is because if you don't stretch the curve tool and you just leave it spherical like this, it will actually respond, the size of the circle will respond to the amount that you squeeze the right analog trigger button, the right R2 button I should say. So if I just go like that, can you see it changing shape? Because we've got surface snap on, it stays on the surface, and because we're using a pale colour, it makes the cracks look like they're inside the scone, which is what they want to look like. a bit rough at the moment. Don't panic, kittens. It will come together. This is quite an expensive way to do this, so I'm not sure if it's very efficient, but we've got quite a lot of cracks to draw. Expensive cakes, I know, they are. I try to make everything as efficient as possible, so I don't use the smear tool very often because it creates an awful lot of edits at once. Even though they only count as one edit, it uses a lot of shapes, I should say. Can you see there the size of the shape changing as I squeeze the trigger? What I'm going to do as well is I'm going to erode, because we've got surface snap on. Once you've created a crack, it will snap to the inside of the crack, so you can put cracks inside cracks, and that will make it look a lot more real. I'm not sure if this is working very well. What do you think, kittens? It's a cool effect, don't get me wrong. But it is super expensive. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced it's given me the right... Well, I don't know. I don't know how much it affects it, to be honest. I'm not that technical. I'm actually going to undo all of that and do it again. Don't hate me. Not all of it though. I'm just going to undo some of it. I feel like I went a bit too far. Let's have a look. Well, because we've used a lot of shapes, I don't want to accidentally delete any edits, so I'm using undo, so I know that I'm only going to delete the ones that I want to delete. That's freaky, isn't it, watching them all disappear? Ta-da! Right. Perhaps we should... I could I could create a lathe and and turn my scone, but then it would be too good. I need it to be somewhat random. Looking at my reference, it looks like there's like one big crack that goes around the edge, perhaps even bigger than that. Oops, I'm inside a donut. Can you imagine a fate worse than that? Oops, I got a bit carried away there. And then connect them up at this side. And then what I'm going to do is just reduce the size and just work away along the edges. Looks like someone's been nibbling on it. The cool thing is as well, because this is a single sculpt, it enables you to do things to it that you wouldn't be able to do if it was multiple sculpts, like warp it using subtractive. That's a bit better. And I'm going to make it much smaller. Save the undo stack. I'm not that strategic really. I need to recalibrate my imp. It's getting a little bit overexcited. What's happened there? Something odd happened. Try and nibble away at these bits, because what I might do as well after I've done this is loosen it a little bit, just around the edges, so that some of the because I don't really want it to be quite so defined. It should look kind of crummy and flaky, like real pastry. Cool though, isn't it? You can just sort of eat away at it. Just, you know, like you do with your scones. I'm going to do a quick save, just in case. Just in case I mess it up. I will use soft blend to make it more undulating, yes. Undulating. But first I'm going to soften it a bit. The good thing about it being a single sculpt, like you say, is that I can warp it using the subtractive soft blend. I'm not sure if that looks very attractive, does it? I feel like I've gone overboard again. Let's do a little bit of soft blend on this. And let's just use a regular sphere because it will save us some budget. I mean, it does sort of look like one. I've changed my mind. I'm going to go back to smear shape. but I'm going to use it smaller. Just to create some cracks. It's odd that it's doing that, isn't it? It's a bit better actually with these cracks. I'm going to try loosening it. I don't like that. It looks like an alien nest, which is really quite unpleasant. So we're going to go into looseness. We're going to use a sphere. We're going to make it bigger. I'm going to turn up the looseness. You'll see here we're in the shape editor. Oh, why is that not doing anything? Is that because... we're using... Oh no, there we go. It's weird that it didn't show it in the preview. Bit more crummy. There we go, look. I think I prefer that. It's a bit less unpleasant looking. Crummy. It just reduces the definition a little bit. So it still looks like a scone that's just, you know, risen in the oven. Yeah, that's alright, isn't it? It's a scone, more or less. I might just reduce the looseness here a little. Well, just down here, just a little smidge. There. That's better. I'm happier now. I wasn't sure before. The marvels of dreams. I'm alright. I think, no, surface snap's useful in this situation. It's not always useful. There, look at that. It's a scone. Now, what are we missing? Should we just try doing some sort of warping to it? I don't do too much warping. The reason being is if we do a lot of warping, we will um we'll make it too unique, and then when we've got multiple scones, it will look odd because they all look the same. But we'll try it, just for the hell of it. Oh, wait a minute. See this? Look at that. Oh. Ah, it's freaky, isn't it? Look at that. Hello. That's alright. I'm going to leave it like that. Don't worry. Don't worry, kittens. No, that doesn't make any difference, really. So if I do... Oh, wait a minute. I also need to change the colour. There. Not sure if it's going to have quite the effect that I want. Is it? Oh, maybe the soft blend is too much. Too much soft blend. I don't know. I think I might leave it. I'm a bit scared. Should we do some glazing? I think that looks scony enough. You know what? Polygons are the past. Polygons are a paradigm that has been around since 3D graphics began. Voxels are the future. So I wouldn't worry about polygons, to be honest. Now this scone is alright. It's not my favourite cake in this collection, but it'll do. I might. Well, let's do some. Let me just show you. Should I do any more crispy bits on the top? Should I do any on the? Actually, I might just quickly crispen up some edgy bits in here just to make it look nicer. Have we still got surface snap on? No, we haven't. Oops. Soft blend. Yes, opacity is low. Just gonna brown some of these sticky out bits. Because when they stick out like that, they do catch the heat a little bit. So they would become a little bit browner. And also the edges of the cracks, it's always a good idea to add a little bit of extra toastiness to those edges. I might even make that the even darker colour. So along here, for example, where we've got sticky out bits, but leave it the pale colour on the bit that goes in, and just do the browny bit on the bit that sticks out. I forgot we're in studio lighting mode, so when we turn that off, it'll look even better. Look at that! It's like a biscuit. In America, I'm told you have these things called biscuits. Now we call cookies biscuits here in England, and biscuits, your biscuits, they were a bit like scones really. You have them with breakfast or chicken. I might even make a little bit of a slightly browner bit, just where it's caught that little bit more. A little bit toastier. Now it's also worth noting, here's a top tip for you. When you're sculpting, it's always best to do your spray painting last. Don't do it until you're kind of happy with the shape, unless you know what you're doing, because the thing is that you can't move spray paint edits. You can only move 3D edits, sculpting edits. So if you spray paint and then you want to change the sculpt, moving the sculpt edits, the colour will not move with the sculpt edits unless the colour was applied with the sculpt edit. So let me just explain what that means. So I'm going to make a new sculpt. I'm just going to quickly save it. Once we have an object, it should be okay. Well, if you're obsessed with polygons, by all means, go ahead. Now let's have a look. We're going to go into sculpt mode. We're going to choose a colour. We're going to make a red sculpt. And we're going to make a green sculpt. And just for the hell of it, oh, no. Let's do it in this mode, just so we can create some freakiness. It's weird, isn't it? Right. Now, say that I want to spray paint a bit of blue onto this object that I've made. See there, it's a little bit like a sculpt. It has a 3D shape, the colour does, right? And that effectively is like a 3D edit. However, you'll notice you can't actually hover over that and grab it. And if I try to move a shape, that blue will stay where it was when I put it down. So when you're sculpting, always get your shape right, or as the basic shape at least, as much as you can before you start spray painting, because that blue will stay in 3D space where even if you move the shapes around. Does that make sense? Right, a little top tip there. We now have a scone, kittens. I'm going to put some glaze on it now. Now, who was it was asking about the glaze? All right, it was a Pandy Bups. I hope a Pandy Bups is still watching. Are you watching a Pandy Bups? Because I'm about to start. Now, let's have a look. Surface snap. What shall we use? Shall we use the dots again? They're our go-to. Right, glazing time. Yes, it's just it's the same with any artistic medium, whether it's polygons, whether it's vertex, whether it's UV mapping, whether it's pottery, whether it's oil painting. There's always a certain order that you should do things in. Obviously, you can always break the rules, but generally you will find that it's a good idea to do things in a particular way to get the best results, to get the results that you want. So I, it's just one of those things. People seem to think that they get upset because things aren't the way they want them to be. But the Dreams engine is incredibly powerful because of the way that it's built. That's not very good, is it? And it's built to be able to be, it's incredibly powerful in that it can do a lot of things. But to give it the ability to do lots of things, it has to be built in an efficient way. And one of the things that makes it efficient is the voxels and the way that the engine works, and because it's built that way, it has limitations, and you just have to learn the limitations, just like with any other medium. You learn its limitations in it. Right, let's do this properly. Now bear in mind, a lot of this is experimentation for me. I've not built a scone in Dreams before. I'm just kind of making this up as I go along, because I know the tools fairly well, and I'm quite arty. I'm not the best artist at Media Molecule by a long way, but I'm quite good at a few things. There we go. Now that's the glaze. Now it looks a bit rubbish at the moment, and I might change it in a minute. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to tweak it. Oops, didn't mean to do that. We're going to just, to make sure it's shiny as possible, we're going to do that. We are going to make it waxy. That didn't actually help much, did it? Maybe metalness is more what we want. We're going to make it a bit transparent. That's the secret sauce. That way we get a bit of shininess, but it looks like a sort of see-through shiny layer, so that when we grab, let me just group those. So we've got to group the glaze with the scone, and now if we grab the scone and rotate it, you'll see that it's got a sheen on the top. It's quite subtle, but the rest of it is rough. The rest of it does not reflect. Now what I might do is just see if I add a rough wax to the scone, whether that will make it look better. Shiny, rough, metal wax, rough wax. Oh, we need to put it in normal lighting, don't we? There. Now, do we prefer rough wax? Oh, there we go. That's a bit better. Don't want it too waxy, because then it won't have any. But because pastry is quite kind of translucent, we want to have a little bit of waxiness. But we don't want it to be reflective, because it will look shiny. That's kind of wrong for a scone. But we can have a glaze on the top. There, you can see the shiny glaze. Can you just see that? Oops. There. What I might do is see if I change the fleck back. Oh, stop it. Sometimes even I forget what the blooming buttons are. There, the glaze is now more speckly. I'm not sure if I like that or not. What do you think? Do you think that's good? Do you like that glaze? Or should we do a different fleck? What about this fleck? Not sure about that either. Decisions. What are your thoughts, kittens? Maybe they should be smaller, so they should be less noticeable. What if I do this? and make them dotty. They're a bit more subtle, I suppose. But then they kind of don't look like a glaze. I could make them looser, but then they'll start coming off. You can see that? Maybe that is better. But then look, because I've made the flecks bigger, they kind of hang out over the edge of the thing, which is not desirable. I don't think it's that bad. I think it's a pretty good scone, to be honest. Don't you think? I think this scone is a worthy addition to the cakey pantheon. Now, one thing I was going to do actually is to edit this cake. Oh. Because I was told it looks a bit too regular. And you know what? You might be right. So I'm going to just put some little holes in it to make it like air bubbles that have formed when the cake was baking. It's a look. I think I might make it looser as well, like we did with the other one. Like we did with the scone, because that worked really well, and it just reduces the definition on the bubbles a smidgen, which makes them look a bit less, a bit less obvious. You think? It's a shame we can't do the impasto on certain areas of the cake. La 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 la. What did you do with your Sunday afternoon, kitten? Oh, it's Saturday, isn't it? It's alright then. I punched holes into a cake. A virtual cake. Yeah. Maybe I could turn up the impasto a little bit. Should we try it and see what happens? Shall we? Oops. Oh, it doesn't actually do an awful lot. It's already on maximum. Hello, Otto Jeremy. I need to do this one as well now. I hope it's not boring. Let's do this. Might be better if I put studio lighting on. My dogs are looking at me and going, "What are you doing?" Did anyone ever play Bubble Bobble? I particularly enjoyed Bubble Bobble. Just putting some bits on the edge there so you can so it's not quite such a straight edge. Bubble Bobble. Do you remember in Bubble Bobble when you got a big score, a load of cake would fall down or fruit? Do you remember that? And then it was a mad scramble across the stage to see who could get the cake first. I loved that. That cake made me love that sort of kawaii, sort of cakey fruitiness. I should do some more fruit actually. I do like making fruit in dreams. I'm quite good at doing the food. I don't know why. Probably because I like eating. Right. Cakey cake. Right, we were going to do a cream horn. Now, the cream horn is going to be quite a sculpting. It's going to be a sculpting challenge. I hope you're ready for it because it's a piece of puff pastry, and I haven't done puff pastry yet, so that's scary enough in itself. And it's wrapped around in a spiral to create a cone, which is why it's called a cream horn, because it looks a bit like a horn. Now, I'm just loosening up this cake. Oops. It always resets the looseness. I don't know why. We just do that to sort of make those bubbles a bit less distinct. There we go. Let's turn off studio lighting. Let's just quickly save that. Now we should do a jammy scone, shouldn't we? But we do have cream and jam already, so it shouldn't be that difficult. Should I do the jam and cream? We're not old, darlings. Age is just a construct. or something. That's what old people say anyway, isn't it? I will release this as playable later. One day it will be public. I just want to use them for my own level first. Is that selfish? Is it, kittens? Let's go for a little run around and see how things are looking. Oh, you know what I found out? I found out yesterday how to turn a basic puppet into a first-person puppet. Let's do that quickly. Because I like first-person games. Although I am going to make this into a third-person game. I want to make a character that looks a bit like Nicole Byer in a chef outfit. Do you think she'd mind? Right, what we have to do is... Oops. Put that over here. Let's unpin that so it's in the world. And put it next to that because it's easier. Then we'll anchor that in space. That's really huge. That doesn't need to be so big. Let's put that there. Anchor that in space. Now we can use it as like a giant control panel. So let's tweak the controller sensor. Now see if I can remember what I have to do. Firstly, we go to the camera page of the controller sensor, because every controller sensor has a built-in camera, which you can replace with your own camera, should you want to, but it's easier just to use the one that's there. So let's do camera distance to 0, which means the camera will be inside the character's head. Now the problem is that the camera will get blocked by the head. So what we have to do is make the head invisible so the camera doesn't get blocked by it. But we've put it on always cast shadows so that the head will still cast a shadow. So that when we see our own shadow, it will still have a head on it. Look, watch. See it appearing and disappearing on the ground there. That's what that does. So let's turn that off. We don't need that anymore. Now, in the character tweak menu, which is tweaked on the purple thing at the bottom, we have to do a couple of things. We have to go into lower thing and turn down lean into strength to 0. And then we want to go in here and turn down motion sensor movement to 0. And we also, I forgot to set something else, which was I think it was always face camera direction. There we go. Now if I close all these menus, let's go out of the character and go to play mode. Now I can't move. Why is, oh, that's right. I know why that is. It's a good thing I know what I'm doing, isn't it, kittens? Because in here, in the imp thing, I need to do forced possession. Now when we go to play mode, we're in a first person camera. We didn't need to do anything special. And we see the cakes. Giant cakes. Here's the bit of cake we were working on just a minute ago. Oh, if I could lick that jam, it'd be delicious. Let's run through here. Oh, no, that's not going to work, is it? Let's see if we can jump across to this donut over here, look. Look how yummy that looks. Oh, I just want to jump on it. See if we can lick this jammy bit. It's gone. It's gone. It's not looking bad from up close. This is what I love about the Dreams engine. It just looks so good. And look at this chocolatey marvel before us. Ever wonder what it looks like if it to be inside a donut ring? Well, this is it. Let's see if I can get out of there. Yes, I can. If you want to know what a pink donut ring looks like from the inside, that's what it looks like. Oh, look, there's a bug there. Look, that bit of sprinkles is floating. And that one. And that one. Oh dear. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell the QA testers, will you? They won't let me ship it. Yeah, I didn't stream the icing of the donuts. I do apologise. I got carried away after the stream and just decided to ice them. Now this one, remember, is a bit shinier because it's a glazed donut with no icing. I really would like to cut a slice out of this chocolate gatto as well. But we can do that another time. Oh, there's the muffins. There's the fairy cakes. There's a slight bit of dodginess here, but we can forgive that. I've seen worse things in AAA games. That muffin looks a bit shiny to me. Don't you think? I put the generative music in here that Todd Baker made. Todd's lovely, actually. Todd was one of the two guys who did that live performance at GDC, at the beginning of GDC. I don't know if you've seen it. I'm sure it's on the internet somewhere. Hello, Nudger. We have just we've just made a scone. I was just contemplating whether to put cream and jam on it. And then I've just made a first person camera, which is cool. I'm sure everyone learned a little bit by watching that. That scone looks a smidgen on the waxy side. I'm going to just turn down the waxiness slightly. Where's rough? There it is. Can you see that? It still looks nice. You see this shine? We did a shiny glaze on the top of the scone. Now I'm going to show you something marvellous. Anyway, yes, so I was talking about Todd. Oh, Nudger. Should we do a fruit scone? Let's just... well, now you've done it. Todd Baker, he did music, not the music, he did the sound effects for my first indie game, Kitty Powers Matchmaker. Now, if you haven't checked that out, you should do. There's lots of videos of it on YouTube. Now, we used a lot of that music that he did for Love Life, the second game that I did as well. Even actually, some of the sound effects got used in the new game, Speed Date. So, anyway, that's Todd Baker. He's lovely. He's the blonde one. The other guy is Ed Hargrave, who you've probably seen on Twitter. Ed has done a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up, or at least he's working on it. You can see that on Twitter if you follow him. He's very good. He's a musician and sound designer, but he's also a very talented artist, it seems, as well, and game designer. He was the other guy on stage with Todd. Now, what was I saying now? The ping pong. Well, the graphics for that performance were done by the art team at Media Molecule, but the ping pong bit was done specifically by John Beach, who you will know from the streams. So yeah, it's a small world, kittens. The Media Molecule is not a big place. Oops. Let's make another platform for our... We're going to slice this scone in half and put jam in the middle. It looks quite good now, isn't it? Doesn't that scone look good? Quite pleased with that. I wasn't sure about it at first, but thanks to your support, we made it in the end. Right, so let's scope into this scone. Now, the way that we chop things in half, I don't know if I've showed you before, is we choose the colour for the inside of the scone, which is this colour, the pale one. We turn off surface snap because we don't need that. I love subtractive sculpting. Let's just put that there. Isn't that freaky? Look at that. You can see the glaze floating, look. Now we're going to use a special trick called cutout. What that does is it will chop the scone in half. Where's it gone? Where's the scone gone? And it will keep both parts as separate sculpts. So let's chop it in half, about halfway up. I'm going to put keep upright. I mean, it would be more realistic to have it slightly wonky. Just going to look around it with the grab cam. Now we have two perfectly sliced halves of scone. Now, that isn't in a group. That isn't in a group. Oh, they're all in the group. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to turn on grid mode, turn off keep upright. We're going to hold L1 and push down up rather on the D-pad to make the grid much coarser, and then we're going to grab the bottom half of the scone with R2. Because the grid snap is on, it won't move, and then we're going to hold L1 and press circle, and now that bottom half of the scone is outside the group, and we can lift the top half off, and look at that. Oops, but we've messed up because our cutout was not in the right place, but that's okay because we can just undo and do it again because I'm silly. Let's put that on. Are we still in cutout? Yes, we are. Right. It helps if you hide the menu as well. That's something that I often am a bit lazy and I don't bother. That's it. Now, that's it. Are we missing any bits? Yes, we are. Have we got it all now? Let's just check it. Check it out. Right, okay, now I'm going to turn the grid up again. Back out of the sculpt. And we're going to grab that and pull it out of the group. And that... Oh, wait a minute, I've done it again, look. For goodness sake. try that one more time before I shout at myself for being stupid. I've made the brush bigger now, so it's less likely to happen. So that's definitely in the middle. That's definitely in the middle. There. Oh, that's it. Sculpt out of there. We're still in the group because that red dot's up the top. We're going to turn up the grid size. We're going to grab that bit. We're going to pull it out of the group. And we've definitely cleanly cut this gone in half. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Now, they always crumble. Yeah, they do crumble. I know you can stretch it, kitten, but that would have meant going into both sculpts and getting the stretch tool out, and I just couldn't be bothered. I know that's perhaps a bit lazy of me. Now, should we do the jam? What kind of jam do we want? Do we want the same jam as this? Probably. So look, what we're going to do is we're going to go into sculpt mode, switch on surface snap, we're going to turn off the grid, we're going to steal this bit of jam here. Does it pick up the finish as well, I wonder? No, it doesn't. So we're going to use shiny wax, and we're going to use a sphere. We're going to make it, it's got surface snap switched on, so we're going to make it a bit bigger, and we're going to make it flat. And then we're going to put stamped shape. I could, well, you know what, one thing I keep forgetting is that you can just hold L1 and press triangle to switch between those modes. Can you see that changing there? That's so much easier, and I just always forget because that shortcut, it went in quite late in development, so I'm not fully accustomed to it. This is kind of the glazing on the donuts was done in a slightly different way because I wanted to I wanted them to be quite smooth, and this is going to be a little bit lumpy. I'm going to turn that up a bit. So what I did for the donuts was I actually just created a torus of icing, and then I actually scooped out the underneath with another torus with subtractive mode, and so that you can actually lift that icing off. I will show you that in just a second. I don't know why I did that, 'cause I didn't really need to. I think what it was is because if I ever decide to cut one of those donuts in half and have a segment of a donut, it will look right from the outside. We could try that. at some point if you'd like me to. What I'm going to do after I've done this is put some berries in it, which is quite a nice touch. If I do this, we've isolated the jam. Now I can waxiness. It's fully waxy and fully shiny. Now if I want to put some berries in it, the easiest way to do that is to obviously put that into soft blend and make it a little bit squashed, and then just tilt it so it's the right way up. We don't actually need we don't need surface snap-on anymore either. And then just darken slightly the colour, just a little bit. This is how I did the jam in the other one, and then it looks like you've got berries in your jam. Look, let me put thingy bob studio lighting on, makes it a lot easier to see. Look at that. Now even though this jam isn't see-through, it gives the illusion that it's see-through. And you know what, we're making video games, so it's pretty much all illusion here anyway, so I wouldn't feel bad about illusions. At the end of the day, the most important thing is not realism, it is the experience that the user has experiencing the thing that you've made. And if you have to cheat to get that experience to work, then, you know, like I said earlier, we're just working within the limitations of the engine, using it to its advantage. Here we go. Now what I can do is take that bright lighter red again, come out of this mode so I can see what I'm doing, and then put some dribbly bits, because we like our dribbly bits, don't we, kittens? Just have it oozing out slightly. That bit's ripe for the oozing. Look at that. That's the wonderful thing about soft blend, is you can easily do this sort of thing, which would, with polygons, that would be a nightmare. But let's face it, kids, let's not do two there, that would be overkill, wouldn't it? And let's just do one dollop here, because that bit is sort of hanging rather unnaturally. So we're going to do that. I might move that in a bit. Just hold L2 and just rotate that. There we go. And then maybe move it down slightly there. That's alright, isn't it? That'll do. Can even clone that and put one here. Look. So it's dribbling into those cracks we put in earlier. So let's scope out of there, turn off studio lighting, and there's our jammy scone. That's right, that was my alter ego, Richard Frank, with Kareem, who's a good friend of mine. We are going for the is the Cornish version jam and then cream? Actually, there is a list of, well, we're actually, what we've done, and we're not put it on the internet yet. I probably shouldn't say anything, but we have got a bunch of videos that shows you all the gestures. It's like if you watch the stream that me and Kareem did, that does have all the gestures in it too, but we are planning to do a proper version of that where you can look at them all individually, presented nicely. I see. Now we're going to do some cream, but the thing with the cream that you normally get on a scone is it's not piped cream like you normally see on those cakes. What it is it's usually spread on with oh, I see, look, some people do it the other way with the jam on top. If it's not Cornish, what is it, Otto? Oh, Nudger, rather. Sorry, Nudger. So we're going to have to think about how we're going to make that cream using the shapes that we've got. We've got about 20 minutes before the end of the stream. So let's try and make that cream. And then I'll do the French horn next time. The cream horn, rather. I always get French horn and cream horn mixed up. You can't play a cream horn. You can't eat a French horn. So let's start a new sculpt. Let's give it a very pale cream colour. It's almost white. Now let's imagine that we have sorry, kittens. My controller just decided to switch off for no apparent reason. Now let's pick a good fleck and a good. Now cream isn't particularly shiny, but it is a bit shiny. So let's do wax. Although it's not spectacularly translucent, we can fiddle with it a bit later. Let's do shiny wax, but we'll make it a bit less shiny in a minute. So what I'm imagining is that the cream has been spread on. I'm going to make it a bit looser, so it has a bit of texture to it. Maybe not that much. And then what we're going to do is we're going to imagine that each one of these splodges is a spread of jam, cream rather, but we're going to subtract from it, and that will be the knife that spreaded it. If that makes sense. So you have a sort of squidge, and then we'll do this, and we'll do another one. Make it a bit bigger. Oops. Sit that on there, and then we'll just maybe even make that bigger. There we go. That sort of works, doesn't it? Oops, I didn't mean to do that. imagine we've smeared another dollop and then make that bigger. And then another dollop. I don't want it to be too even, because you don't do your cream that evenly, really, do you, when you do it? It wants to be slightly wonky. There we go. I keep doing that. Why do I keep doing that? Sausages. Oops, where's it gone? Let's go the other way and do that there. I could even just make it slightly different so that it's not too samey. Like that. And then just smear that on there. There we go. And then we'll just do one more here. Not too big. Not too big. And then we'll just squidge that on there. There we go. That sort of looks alright. Oh, wait a minute. We've got one more. There's a hole in the middle. No one in their right mind would leave a splodge of cream not filled. I mean, what madness would that be? Let's just... There we go. Oh, look at that. Let's tighten it up a little bit. Oh. Oh no, I can't make it tighter. Luckily, I should be able to do this. No. That's it. It's slightly naughty, making things more expensive. But, hey ho. I haven't actually looked at the thermometer at all, to be honest. I'm just going to change the material a little bit to make it a little bit less. Oh no, I didn't want to do that. I'll put that back and then we'll just make it. That's better, isn't it? Because cream isn't that shiny. That looks more creamy to me. And what I might do as well is just move that cookie cutter up a little bit so it's a bit neater. There we go. And now we can, oops, we can just lower that down. Maybe it should be slightly wonky. Like that. Let's just put that on precise move so that and then just give it a little bit of wonk. A little bit of wonkiness just to finish things off. It could be a little bit more generous with the cream, couldn't it? But, you know. Hey ho. What do you think, kittens? More cream? Oh dear. Alright, let's see what we can do. What if we just... rotate it like that. It does look very creamy, doesn't it? It's good, isn't it? Even I'm impressed. I shouldn't really say that about my own work, but you know, you've got to blow your own trumpet sometimes. Shall I make that a bit smaller? There we go. There we go. Squidge. Oh, look at that. There. I think we ought to really... Let's just mix that up a bit. And then I want to make the cream a little bit bigger. Oh. There we go. Oh, it's a bit too big now. Oops. We got a bit carried away with the cream. That's better. The cream isn't perfect, but it will do. Don't you think? I'd eat it. Well, I was actually on holiday, Nudger, when the 12-hour thing happened, so I missed out on all that, which is a shame. Do you think that cream's a bit too waxy? It looks a bit odd. I'm going to group those, and then I'm going to go into coat mode, and I'm going to change the finish to a slightly less waxy one. So we're going to go for plastic. That's better. Just a smidgen less waxy. Now let's save it, because we've now got a scone and a cream scone. We could make a fruit scone, but we're not going to do that today. I'm going to save and release this as playable so you can have a run around of it yourself. I will save... Actually, before I do that, I'm going to save that out. I will release these at some point, but like I said, I want to use them first, and then I'll make them public. And then these, group, save. This isn't the most exciting screen in the stream, is it? There we go. Now we'll save this as playable, so you can have a little run around. Yes, yes, yes. What I'm planning to do eventually is make a game where everything's made out of cakes. So it'll be like, I guess it'll probably be like a platform game. You could put the top of the scone leaning on the side of the bottom half scone and on the plate. Yes, I could. I could do a lot of things. I probably will. I mean, don't forget, when I actually make a level out of these, I will be arranging them a bit more. I was thinking I might build an art gallery and put my cakes in it on little plinths and spotlights. Oh my god, look, it's a giant gone. I was going to call my level Game of Scones, which is why which is why I had to build a scone or scone, depending where you're from. It does look a bit uniform, doesn't it? We will make it wonkier, don't worry. Next time we'll do the cream horn, and I do still plan to do some biscuits. Has anyone got any good recommendations, by the way, for levels that we could quickly have a look at before I go? Oops. Anyone? Any good horror levels, perhaps? Sonic Future? Oh, blimey. This looks interesting. This is exciting, isn't it? It makes up for that awful movie trailer that we all saw the other day. Critique your muffin and Ross. Cameras are very nice, isn't it? Why can't I jump up there? Pull the camera out. Oh dear, it's broken. Alright, well that's nice. Good effort. Oh, I want to play that. The new recommended, by the way, is very good. Let's have a look for... We're going to critique your muffin, Andros. Oh yeah, I should turn the TV down a bit, shouldn't I? There we go. That's you there. Oh, there's your muffins, look. That's pretty good. I notice you don't have a paper case like mine. But, you know, it's a good muffin. I can't complain. What you might want to do is do these berries as different sculpt like I did, so you can make them a bit shinier. I'm not sure if you did that the way that... Oh yes, you did your chocolate one the way that I did it. So that's it. That's better, because you can see the different materials. Do you know what I mean? You might want to make the impasto a little more on the muffin. Not much more, just to give it a crummier texture. Any other recommendations? Zachiel. Okay, let's have a look at that. I think I've seen that one actually, but we'll have a look for it anyway. I need to let my doggies out for a wee in a minute. And 3 of them are looking at me. Is it that one or that one? Not that one. Oh, I have played this. Yes. I have played this before. It's quite good. I got stuck though. good, this game. Do you know the person that made it? It's been updated slightly. I have played it before. So I've done the first few rooms. Yeah, no, I've played it, but I got to one of the levels and I couldn't figure out what order. There was a yellow button in the room I got stuck in. Oh, one of my doggies is licking the other dog's face in a cute way. Rosie. Bless a little heart. Right, so I'm imagining 3, 2. Now, does this... I've forgotten how this bit works. I know that I can get up there. Right, I thought that. I did do this level before. But that's not really a hint, is it? That's just telling me... That's just telling me the thing. So that's green. I guess... Well, I need to get up here, don't I? I've forgotten how to do it. Oh, it's blue, isn't it? If I go blue, then I'll make that platform work. Forgot about that. There we go. Yeah, that hint's a bit too obvious. I did actually know that one already. I was just pressing it because it told me to. So blue is the first one. So red's the second one. Now I've got to get back without dying. Oh dear. I think I can just jump over the white bits, can't I? So blue's number 1. Oh, I can just jump over the white bits because I don't want to get rid of my redness. Oh. Right, I need to leap over these. Oh no, I don't. They go off, don't they? That's it. I forgot about that. There we go. It's good, this game. It's clear, it's well laid out. They've used different scenes to create a dungeon. I'm sure there was another room that I got stuck in. Oh, that's right, you get a little friend that you can run around as. Top tip, kids. Make your cutscene skippable. So that if you've played it before, you don't have to watch it again. That's good though, I forgive it. See, why are you giving me a hint when I've only just come into the room? That's silly, you should wait a bit. So there's 4 colours. I don't know what that is, that's a red thing that's broken. That means that there was a red thing there. There's a blue thing there. And it flashes twice. So I guess that's Number 2 is the blue one. The green one, is that flashing? The green is the 4th one, so let's put them in. Blue is the 2nd one. We don't know what red is, but by a process of elimination, should be able to figure that out. So we can turn into our little friend. Yellow is the 4th one. It's a cute way to use the imp. So yellow's the 4th one. Oh wait a minute, that means green is wrong. What have I done? But that one flashes 4 times. I don't understand. Well, let's try the yellow one as the 1st one. And the red one as the 3rd one. And if it's not that, it'll be the other way around. No, okay, it's the other way. Oh, bums. So let's try that one there. And we'll do the red one there. I thought yellow was... Oh yeah, I think it was wrong. I think something was wrong. But it's good. It's only a small mistake. I managed to figure it out, so don't worry. Right, what's happening down here? What's that? Is that something? There's a green thing. Oh, blimey. This is the big room. L1 for run and light on the platform. Oh blimey. Oh. I don't understand. Not sure. The controls are a bit strange there, but we can cope. We can cope. Right, so the green thing makes me green, and then I get on the green thing, and nothing happens. This is pretty epic. I'm not sure where I'm going. It's a bit of a long drop. What's that white thing? Is that meant to be something I change? No. Alright, well anyway, listen, this is cool. I'm going to play it later. What other levels do you think I should play? Let's have a look. Anyone? Okay, let's have a look at the recommended again. Zack the Demolisher. That looks interesting. I'm ready. Oh no, I'm not ready. L2 for aiming, R2 for shooting. Square for kick, R1 for run. Shield block enemies. It's already complicated. But it's kind of fun to look at, so let's just play it anyway. I forgot what to do. Okay, I'm going to wait till that's a bit more evolved before I play it anymore. Oh my god, Revenge of the Flies. Well, I'll play that later. Blimey. This guy's been knocking them out. Oh, that's because we're only looking at Zakiel. I'm such an idiot. Well, let's get rid of that filter. Let's have a look. I wanted to look at Silent Hills.
Dad was such a drag.
Hollow. Right,
every day he'd eat the same kind of food, dress the same, sit in front of the same kind of games. Yeah, he was just that kind of guy. But then one day he goes and kills us all. He couldn't even be original about the way he did it. I'm not complaining.
I like horror games. I like games that aren't too complicated. I don't like games where it's just all about killing things. Which is ironic since I like horror games, but I do... Horror games aren't always about killing, they're just about stop not being killed. Atmospheric. I did play a bit of Resident Evil 7 in VR, but I don't actually have the VR headset myself, so I didn't get to finish it in VR. But I have got the game here, so I might finish that another time. I played it on my, I did actually stream it. Although I think I had a different channel back then, but the video should be on my YouTube channel. Ms. Kitty Powers. Am I going to get to play this? Oh, blimey. It's quite epic.
Yeah. Jeffrey, there's been another homicide. I need you on the station now.
Gotcha.
Well, this is interesting. I mean, it's...
There was another family shot to death in the same state last month, and in December last year,
I don't really want to climb on your
a rifle and meat cleaver to murder his entire family. In each case, the perpetrators were fathers. State police say this string of domestic homicides appears unrelated, though it could be part of a larger trend such as employment, child care, and other social issues facing the average family.
Where am I going?
Sure. We'll be there in 15 minutes.
quite good. Yes, it's very accomplished. Can't do anything though. Oh, there
Good
we
morning,
go.
Lou. Jeffrey. Got my hands full here. Swamped. I'm telling you. Well, that's why I'm here. For you. Brams County can lend a cop or two for a neighboring town in need. So, what are we looking at? Henry Sullivan
Look
shot
at
his
this
family dead last
slightly
night, then hung
scribbly
himself
drawing.
in the garage. Lisa Belinsky, his wife, shot in the stomach and pregnant.
Is it that loud?
Dear God.
Right, let me
It's
turn it
just
down.
getting
There we go.
worse. It's like the whole city.
Right, okay, I'm gonna like that and come back later. Stop me if you see something you like. Have you seen this puppet test? That's really good. Let's have a look at this. That was quite good. Better than the other one. What was it you said the other one was that I should look at? The Hollow. Well, let's have a look for that. The Hollow. Oops. Oh, was it scary? Oh yeah, I've seen this one. Well, they've changed it. It used to be different. Ned the Necromancer. I've got access to the garden. Little sausages. Anyway, let's go outside, shall we? Now, last time I played this, I got into the dungeon, and there was 2 doors, and the 3rd door didn't open, because I think the level wasn't finished. But they've made this different now. It's more grassy than it used to be. I'm guessing I need to go over there. Oh, this is new. Could do with a bit more audio, couldn't it? Well, maybe, I don't know. I remember this bit. I had to press a button. It told me to press triangle, but then I had to press square. I've done this bit before. There's a game called Sacred Serenity that looks really good. This is new. Okay, now what do I do? Do I do something here? There's a plate of cookies along with a note. Dear Weird Rockman, please help yourself to these warm and wondrous home-baked cookies. Unless, of course, your digestive system is made of stone and you only feed on rocks. With love, Ned. Oh dear. Well, that was a bit mean, wasn't it? Oh, oh, oh. Oh dear. Oh dear, that wasn't very good, was it? Now, oh, I can save it. Take the music sheet. Oh. Okay. Do I need that here? No. Maybe I need it in here. Thanks very much. Oh. What's that? Press square to use the hammer. That's cool, isn't it? I mean, I can get in here now. No. Oh. Maybe I have to smash. Oh no. No, don't want to do that anymore. It's a bit Tim Burton-esque, isn't it? Oh, now it's side-scrolling. A note lies on the podium. Blimey. Scary circular people. Quite good. It reminds me of what was that game? Not Limbo. Oh dear. I don't make me do it all again. Well, that's annoying. What was that one called? With the one where you had to go, you were a little kid and you went to the factory and everyone was like zombies. Remember that? Any more matchmaking games on the card? Well, there's already 3. There's Matchmaker, Love Life and Speed Date. I don't know if you've played all 3 of them. We are doing updates for Speed Date at the moment, and we are looking at what we're going to work on next. So you never know, there may well be another matchmaking game on the card. I'm not going to say no. We've got to figure out. It's not easy, you know. The lighting's nice. This game's got a lot bigger. Maybe I have to go back. Maybe I have to go down there. There's no sign of anything that way. We'll go down. There we go. That was awesome. I've already given that a thumbs up. Have you seen Dexter's Lab yet, everyone? I haven't actually played it yet. Can you really not hear me? The mic is right next to my mouth. You can hear me. I'm using the rubbishy headset I got with the PlayStation, I'm afraid. What do I do? Well, here we go. Go out. Are you sure you don't want to read a book? Alright, I'm going to turn it down even more. Oh, that was short. Oh, I see. So I'm not, yes, I've turned the sound down now, so you should be okay. I never actually watched Dexter's Lab. Does that make me a bad human? Check task list. Oh, that's cool. No, it's good. They've cleverly used the materials to give it a cel-shaded quality. So is there anything exciting I need to look out for? Can I go up this tube? I can't even jump. It does look great though. I wonder what what they've got planned for it. There's a giant robot over there. It has great potential if they don't get told off for copyright infringements. Let's see if we can press this button. Oh my goodness. Does it do that in the cartoon? Oh, I can't go in. That's annoying, isn't it? Oh, how disappointing. Are these all characters from the cartoon? Well, I'm disappointed there's no jump button. But I am impressed with the environment and the characters. Controls, not so much. But, you know, we can forgive it. It's work in progress. Seems very popular. Right, what else is there in this wonderful lineup? I've played that one. Yes, he does have a slight tash. Well, I'm quite old as well, Nudger. I wouldn't hold it against anyone for being wiser and more experienced. Naughty Bear series. That looks a bit disturbing and probably not suitable. Spherical Sensations. Well, that's got a lot of likes. Let's have a look at that. Gosh. Where should we go? Incomplete. Oh no. Does that mean that it's not finished or that we can play it? Oh, this reminds me of another level that I played. Can I do double jump? Oh, this isn't fun. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, knickers. That's it. Oh no. Oh, that was good. Get the hang of it now. Don't panic, everyone. Oh dear. Didn't do that, did I? Oh no. Let's do it the other way. Oh no. Oh dear. Oh, stop it. Oh. Oh, you little monkey. Right, I've had enough of this. Not my cup of tea, I'm afraid, kittens. I enjoyed Boom Balls. I've not played Geometry Wars Clone. I didn't see the music. I couldn't listen to the music. I need to get some headphones, really. Back to Nowhere. Short film. Car trip. Don't take this game seriously. Have a fun time on a car trip with your friends. Most of the models you'll see are not made by me, especially not the car. Well, it's got a lot of likes, so let's go and try it out. Oh, I see, you weren't actually moaning about the music in the room, you were moaning about the music in the game. So I just need to speak up a bit, don't I? Right, what do I have to do? This is funny, but a bit silly. Anything else you want me to look at before I go? Samurai Slash. Hold touchpad to exit game. Oh, what did I do wrong? It didn't actually give me any instructions. I don't know what to have to do. Oh, okay, well, I'll come back to that one. Oh, wait, what does it say? Eye versus eye in a samurai showdown. When you hear the snap, press X. The quicker samurai wins. Added for new opponents. Alright, let's try one more time. Yes! Yes! I didn't realise I was listening for the sound. Oh, that's not fair. Okay, I'm exiting the game now. That's quite good. I enjoyed that once I knew how to do it. Praise the sun. Stop for gas. Suddenly wake up from being unconscious and everything has changed. This looks interesting. Oh, it's a shame. I wanted a chainsaw. Polish the bolt cutter in the display case. I think I left my key for it in my office. It better be spick and span by morning. Okay, let's do that, shall we? Where's the office? There's the bolt cutters. Why are they so prized when there's a chainsaw just lying around? Where's the office? Oh, there it is. Or is that the exit? It's coming down hard. Oh. Now what do? Did I mess it up? Oh dear. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, sorry kids. I'm a bit stupid. Where's the office? Where's the key? Why has the lights gone out? What's going on? There's a saw. Can I go outside? Yes, Nudger. No, I know. I've got a memory like a sieve. Oh, look. There's the office, I think. Can I interact with this door? No. Can I jump up here? Yes. Uh-huh. Here's the office. Let's see if we can find a key. Oh, there's a key. Oh no, the robot. What's going on? Quick, run away. Bravely run away. Bravely run away, away. Right. Open the door. Go in here. It's annoying that the torch is not on a toggle. Right, use the key. Take the bolt cutters. I don't even know what I need them for. Anybody? Top tips? The rain looks quite good. Very rainy. Oh, I've got a feeling the bolt cutters might come in handy here. No. Gosh, it is very rainy. gallivanting around, yes. No. There's a bolt thing here. Oh, there's a hole. I had a bolt cutter. I have got a bolt cutter. Ta-da! Is that the end? Oh, look. Oh, this is quite exciting, even though it is, you know, crudely rendered. No. It's a bit like one of those post-apocalypse movies. Somebody left a pink thing lying around. Why is there a huge green thing in the way? Can I get past it? I don't understand. It's very foggy in here. Maybe there's something inside these cars. Oh, there. Look. Oh, no. Oh, dear. Well, this is a bit of a pickle, isn't it? Maybe there's something under the hood. There's a very nicely rendered engine in there. Somebody's put a lot of effort into something that you're not really going to see very much. Oh dear. This pink thing must be something, but I don't know what to do with it. Maybe go away from the green thing, but that's where I came in from. This just leads back to the entrance. So there's that. Oh, you can pick crates up. I forgot about that. What a silly sausage. Right, where should I put it? I could put it there. I mean, it looks pretty big and heavy. I'm surprised I managed that. Let's see if I can... No. Oh dear. What about here? That looks better. And then if I put another one here. Oh. Oh dear. Where's it gone? Oh. Physics, how we love thee. Right, let me see if I can get up there now. Oh, come on. Oh. Oh, kittens. What am I going to do? Oh, that's it. Oh my god. I've done it. Oh, it's a lorry on its side. Okay, I can't go down there. There's some kind of invisible collision. Holding down R1 all the time to have the torch on is a bit of a pain. There's a breathing noise coming out of my controller and it's actually giving me the willies. Oh! Oh dear. It's because they're using fog gadgets and they're quite dense, but they're only kind of... Oh god. It's actually quite scary when they do that. Should I have gone up there? Well, I couldn't because I fell down. What's this? A door with a skull. That doesn't look like it belongs in a tunnel. Let's go in here and have a Oh, it's quite exciting, isn't it? Yeah, if you do fog gadgets, they have a volume. You can adjust the gizmo to make them bigger and smaller, and you can adjust the density. And obviously their gizmos were a bit too small and a bit too dense. But, you know, still adds to the atmosphere. Well, actually, this is quite impressive in terms of scale, at least. There's horrible breathing again. Those don't do anything. Oh my god, it's a serial killer. Oh no, run away! How do I get out of here? Oh god. I don't know what to do. Help me. Oh, can I get across there? Where is he? Oh my blimey, there he is. Oh, he's scaring me. Oh, you're welcome, kitten. To be honest with you, I'm not that brilliant at puppets myself, but when I learned how to do that, I was so pleased with myself that I wanted to share it with you. So maybe I could just jump across here. No. Oh, blimey. Right, I'm going to give up. That's scaring me too much. It's good, though. I better go, kittens. I hope you've had fun watching me mess about. We'll do some more cakes next time. The cream horn. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter and Facebook and all that. Ms. Kitty Powers, MS Kitty Powers. And you can follow me on Twitch and all that. And I'll put this stream up on my YouTube channel as well. And don't forget to have a look at my games. Kitty Powers Matchmaker, Kitty Powers Love Life, and Kitty Powers Speed Date. And also, obviously, check out Media Molecule's website, indreams.me as well. Sign up for the newsletter. Keep an eye out on Media Molecule's Twitch stream, which I'll probably be on in the next few days, I imagine. And, yeah, look out for updates, because there's lots of new cool stuff coming. Anyway, I'll see you soon, kittens. I'll speak to you later.